Magandang gabi po sa iyong lahat. Welcome to Near Protocol Philippines. Hope you are staying safe in this stormy weather over here currently in the Philippines. My name's Andrew, and tonight we have another special guest on the show who we are going to interview tonight. His name is Ted Murdoch, and he is the creator of NEARNauts. We're going to find out what that is in a bit. So, Ted, welcome to the show. Happy to have you here.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to be on. I've been looking forward to doing something like this. So, yeah, it's going to be fun.
All right. So before we get into the juicy stuff, Ted, maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you went to school, maybe anything that you fancy.
Well, obviously I'm from the UK. You can probably tell by my accent, most people. So, I sort of bounced around everywhere in terms of school and whatnot. I sort of bounced around everywhere because I'm from an army family, so I went to like a couple of different secondary schools. I just went to the same primary school in a place called Sheffield, just over here. I now live in Yorkshire, which is, well, Sheffield is in Yorkshire, but it's different. But yeah, so I sort of moved everywhere here and there. But yeah, that's what sort of led me on this path, sort of thing. I tried so many different things, and then this is where I've ended up. So,
all right. Thanks for telling us that. So, could you maybe enlighten us what you were doing just before you maybe discovered crypto and blockchain?
Well, what wasn't I doing? I've always wanted to sort of, be a creator and a leader of something. So I tried so many different things, but there just wasn't like a spark there with it. I was doing all sorts. Just working in retail. Trying to start different businesses and whatnot, but there was no like sort of spark with any of it. It was always a case of, I don't know, this just isn't me. Like,
you were just trying to find
for the sake of doing it. Yeah. But yeah, and I worked at a shop over here called O2. I don't know if they have them anywhere that people will be watching from, but it's basically just like a mobile phone shop. And one of the lads that I worked there with, he was the one that actually got me into like crypto and things like that. And he kept saying to me like, "Oh, you got to give it a try. You got to," and like, I don't think you realise until you get involved with it that there's a lot more to it than you think. Like, I used to just think, I'm not bright enough to do that. Like, you're mad. Like, I'll get lost. I won't have a clue what I'm doing. And then it's sort of one of them things. If you put the time in, you'll do all right. Like, so yeah, eventually I just bit the bullet, gave it a try, and the rest is history. Now I do it full time. The lad that got me into it now works for Near himself, which is why we ended up launching on Near.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it's all worked out better than I thought it would. I'm not gonna lie. It's the sort of thing that you can easily be skeptical of until you get involved and you see it for yourself, and But yeah, the rest is history after that. I suppose.
That's so true. Your experience. I've had like a similar experience on my end. How I got into the crypto and blockchain space. Basically, I was introduced to it and didn't really think it was something I was going to be doing. But then here we are.
That's it. It's so like addictive. Like it's kind of like a lot of people sort of compare it with gambling. And it's like, on the surface, that might be what it looks like, but it's really nothing like that whatsoever. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not just down to pure luck of, is this going to go up or down? Is this team going to deliver this? It's, there's so much more to it. And that's what I love about it. If you put in the time, put in the effort, you'll do all right. You're not going to win 100% of the time. No one ever does. And anyone that says they do is just lying. But, if you can take your losses on the chin and just get on with it, like, you'll do all right. Like, and I love it. Like, since I started doing it, like, every single day I'm just doing something, whether it's just reading, like, on Telegram, just sort of networking with people or anything. Like, there's always something to be doing, always. And
Yeah.
lucky for me, it just happens that, you know, I'm good at it, which is good for me because I enjoy it, and it's enabled me to be in the position I'm in now, you know. So I recommend it to everyone, you know. I recommend it to absolutely everyone. Like, you know, my mum started accumulating, my sister, my barber, my barber, because he always, like, I've been going to him for like 4 or 5 years now, and he always says to me, what are you up to these days? And since I got into crypto and stuff, like, I'm always talking about it to him. And like, last time I went to see him, he was like, oh, I've got like £300 worth of Ethereum now. And I'm like, just keep doing it, mate. Keep doing it. Come back to me in 5-10 years time and just say thank you. You'll be all right.
All right. So you just thanks for that you know, additional information. And right, so you're currently doing this full time. You're, you know, really into it. But you mentioned that, you know, a friend of yours introduced you to Near Protocol specifically. So maybe we can get a little more insight on that. How did you like decide that you wanted to, you know, build on Near Protocol or something like that?
Yes. So you know, it's Near's, like, just Near as a whole, like the network and everything. It's weird. Like, it's so easy to overlook at first glance, before you realize, like, you know, I think the sort of technology and just the, what would you call it, like, how professional it all is it's leaps and bounds above any other network, I think, personally, now that I've used it. And when Marcus, that's my mate who now works for me, that got me into crypto in the first place, when he started working for him, obviously he like came to us and he was like, oh, you know, I started working for Near, it's so cool. And this is before NEARNauts was even in the picture, like, you know, it wasn't even thought of at this point. So, you know, it was like, oh, just give it a try, you know, like, because I've always loved NFTs and stuff. You know, I've been designing stuff since I was like 12, you know, I'm 26 now, like. So naturally, like, NFTs and stuff for me were like a big thing. And he was like, "Come on, just come over to Near, give it a try. You know, try Mint Base." And I was like, "You know what? Okay." So, you know, gave him a try. And I was like, "You know what? This network is like I really like it. Like, it's I don't know. There's just something about it." And since then, like, you know, I grew a massive soft spot for Near. Like, I absolutely love it. Like, it is by far my favorite. And I think the fact I know it's got so much potential to grow, you know, that sort of led to the decision where, you know, he was like, oh, well, I'll put you in touch with some of my guys, you know, we might be able to give you a little grant to, you know, get you to launch on Near and whatnot. And so I was obviously like, you know, even better. So yeah, that's how we got there. It just sort of happened to fall into place like that. You know, we weren't expecting a grant at all, you know. We were just like, it'd be nice to sort of be established on the network, and, you know, before it goes on like the sort of run that Solana went on with their NFTs and stuff. Like, they just blew up. Like,
that's true.
You know, Near will do that. Like, who knows when? But, you know, this like $100 million grant that's going towards NFTs is definitely going to help, like NFTs and gaming and stuff. So it's just a case of when, you know, like, for us, the big target is, you know, we're not thinking, oh, short term, what can we deliver short term to just try and keep everyone happy, because we feel like if we do it that way, it's going to get old very fast. You know, we don't want to sort of just push stuff out for the sake of it, and then in the long term just be like, well, everything's done. Like, you know, what else do you want, sort of thing. I've got so much stuff in the works, and, you know, we just keep saying to everyone, like, in the Discord and stuff, you know, think long term, just be patient, trust me. You know, we've got things in the works that are gonna be, you know, the value isn't what the actual NFT itself is worth. The value comes from what you're gonna get from just having it. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I like to talk. You can talk. I like to talk. So
yeah,
I'll
it's
I'll
okay.
Just keep going off on a tangent.
Totally.
So.
But yeah, thanks for sharing that with us. You know, so our listeners there, the piece of advice that Ted just, shared with us, or piece of information, is, yeah, think long term in terms of Near. If you really want to be in this ecosystem for the long run, yeah, it's good to be here. So just like them, if you're an NFT enthusiast or if you're an artist, it's good to try and explore and stay in the ecosystem, the Near ecosystem. Anyway, thanks again, Ted, for telling us that. I guess we can go into what you're building right now on top of Near, which is, of course, your own creation, NEARNauts. Can you tell us about that? More about that?
Yeah. So, obviously, I approached Marcus, said to I'd love to do a generative project. Build it on Near, go from there, see where it goes. And obviously, the art, I don't do the art. Like, I haven't done the art. It's an artist that we've got called Goose. And I actually just found him by pure chance. And I remember I saw one of his pieces before I even started, planning NEARNauts. And he'd entered a competition for, I don't know if you've heard of him, there's quite a big NFT artist on Ethereum called Kid 8.
Kid 8.
Yeah, and Goose had entered one of his competitions, basically. I saw this piece and I was like, that is incredible, like that is cool, like, I like that. So I basically got in touch with him because he's got a very unique art style. It's kind of like retro but modern at the same time. Like, when I first saw it, I thought that reminds me of like the old Sonic games, like very colourful and like vibrant, but at the same time it doesn't look old, if that makes sense. And I was like, that is that's super cool. Like, I was like, that is very cool. And like I'd love to bring an artist that's sort of under the radar on, get the work out of it, like commission them for work. And I think he had like something like 14 followers on Twitter at the time, and since then, like, everyone has said the artwork is just incredible, and it's just super good, like, I sort of directed the art, so I said, can we have this, we kind of want it to look like this, but put your flair on it, and I just say to him, like, even now with the stuff we're doing, like, I just say to him, do you think we could get this? Just do what you do, and he'll come back and just be like, there you go, done. And there was never one point in the whole process of getting all the artwork done to start off with where I was like, can we just change that? Like, he just kept coming back with things, and I was like, perfect.
You like it.
So yeah, exactly, yeah. And then obviously, we found a developer and whatnot, and got to work, yeah. And I mean, Goose has been working non-stop since we started, like, we're already working on, well, a number of things, actually. Like, it's crazy how much is actually going on behind the scenes. And it's like, it's so hard not to just tell everyone, but like, we want it to be a bit of a surprise, if anything. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm really excited. We've been actually following your Twitter account, NEARNauts Twitter account as well, and yeah, just the artwork is really, really good. I'm super excited for it. So yeah, please continue to share with us what anything more that you can.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we decided to go for a 10k tournament just because, like, we were like, do we go for less? But then we're like, straight away, off the rip, we're just sort of thinking short term. Then we're thinking, why don't we just get them sold out quick? They're a smaller mint amount, but like, we thought, you're dropping the community size down by, like 80%, like, potentially. So, we're like, we'll go for 10, because at the end of the day, we want the community to be as big as possible. And that's sort of the amount, like, all these iconic collections are all like 10,000. Like, that just seems to be the amount that people are fond of. It's it's exciting. We just wanted to be here ready to grow with the network while it does. And I honestly feel deep down that this next year, is going to be big for me, like very big. Best year yet, I think. Like by far.
I'm hoping to. So we were actually, just maybe a side question. We were actually interviewing a similar project the other week. I'm not sure if you've heard of Meerkat Kingdom. But,
yes, yeah, I have, yeah.
They're also doing generative art stuff, and they plan on doing this like you mint in order to get maybe your own meerkat. Are you also maybe planning on doing the same thing? Mint in order to get your own NEARnaut, something along those lines, or?
What do you mean in terms of?
Oh, so they have this website. They allow you to mint, or you put in like say a certain amount of near X amount of near, and you get like a random meerkat with all of these types of features and rarities and all. So is it kind of the same thing for NEARnauts? Or...
Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, like it started off with limited each wallet to 5 mints at first, because we want it to be open for plenty of people to get involved. Loads of people were buying them. They're like, oh, I want some more, and like people made a valid point. They're like, it's pretty pointless having a limit on, just because if people want more, they can make a wallet within a new wallet within 5 seconds, and just get more. It's a pretty moot point. So yeah, eventually, I mean, there's still kind of a limit, but I think you can mint up to 50 now, I think. Wallet, so the options there. We didn't do it expecting people to mint 50, but we just wanted the option there to be, if you want to buy some, you can. Why not? But yeah, that's what we do. You can mint up to 5 in a transaction, and then you just get assigned, obviously, a random NEARnaut with random traits. You just have to ignore the dogs in the background and just fighting with each other. But yeah, that's what we do. But yeah, I like Meerkat Kingdom. They're cool guys. We've messaged back and forth a little bit. Sort of see if we can drum up any sort of
collaborations or something.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah. But yeah, it's looking good though. People like the pixel art style. They're really cool looking. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I'll be keeping an eye out on it and obviously seeing how they do and whatnot.
Yeah. So guys,
cool guys.
NEARnauts.io is their website. You can head over to it if you're interested in minting your own NEARnauts. Yeah, give them a visit. You never know what you could get. So thanks for telling and sharing us with us, Ted, your idea. So behind NEARnaut, and maybe you can tell us something, some of your plans maybe on the future, what you see NEARnauts becoming or your work becoming in, say, the next 3 to 6 months, if that's a reasonable time frame for you.
Yeah, I mean, we're working on a lot, so it's going to be sort of staggered releases, because some things are going to take longer than others. But yeah, we're working on a few things. Obviously we've got our first Twitter space tomorrow. We're going to start doing it, with all the near NFT artists and stuff, just because, it's like we said from the get-go, we don't want to sort of just be the only project. At the end of the day, if everyone succeeds, Near gets better. So yeah, we're going to be hosting that tomorrow, where we're going to be sort of releasing what we're working on, actually telling you what it is and whatnot. But I'll say we're already working on the first airdrop for holders, which is obviously a 1-to-1 ratio claim for a next round of NFTs, if you like. We've sort of released a bit of information on them, so they're going to be called Astro Pups, which was voted on by the community. Yeah, so for every NEARnaut you hold, you'll be able to go onto the website and claim an Astro Pup for free. We've not released what they look like yet, but I think we may do soon. I'm not sure.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, they've got all the same sort of traits and stuff. So like different like helmets and furs and whatnot. Obviously, they don't look the same. They don't look like NEARNauts in any way, shape, or form. But we thought it'd be nice to have the same traits and whatnot, so people can, if they want to, collect pups that look like their nauts and vice versa. But yeah, and we're working on 2 forms of passive income for holders as well. I can't tell you in the form of what yet.
Okay, but you got me interested in passive. When you said passive income, oh, okay.
So
right.
we're working on. Currently we're working on 2, which will be like simultaneous passive income for holders as well. So the whole idea for us is we want to build our own sort of mini ecosystem on Near. NEARNauts is the center of it all, and then we're going to have all these branches out that lead back to NEARNauts in some way. So the holders, the whole idea is any platforms we make, anything we do, basically, it wants to link back to NEARNauts in some, like the NFTs specifically, and benefit the people holding them. So it's basically an ecosystem where every platform on it, or every sort of concept on there, benefits the people holding the NFTs that are in the center of it all. And the stuff we're working on now, I mean, don't quote me on it, but that I know of, it's never been done. So and I think one of the platforms we're working on at the minute is going to be a game changer in terms of NFTs as a whole, not just Near. But I think it is going to benefit the NFT space on Near a lot.
Okay. I'll take note of that. Game changer.
I hope so. That's the intention,
I see. Thank you, Ted. Oh, just for the benefit of our listeners who may be interested in getting their own NEARNauts, how much does it cost to mint one in Near?
Well, with that, full price is 7.5.
7.5.
We've just started. Yeah, we've just started the Christmas sale today, 16th of December, and that runs to the 18th of December. And if you haven't minted one before, you can get them for 6 at the minute.
6
rather than 7.5. Yeah.
Right. So
if you have minted before, you can get one. You can get more for 3. So yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Well, we just wanted to benefit the people that have obviously been there, ready, and they've obviously
since the beginning.
Yeah. But yeah. And we've got like the market and everything built into the site, so even if you go on the market and see one that you like, you just buy it straight off there. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing with us that, Ted. So again, guys, that is NEARNauts to our community members there. If you haven't discovered this yet, now you do. Once this video comes out, and if you're interested to get your own NEARNaut, mint it. They're having a sale on 16th to 18th, so it's only for 6 Near. You can get yours and maybe get some bragging rights as well in the process. I own a NEARNaut, so thank you for sharing that with us, Ted, in your creation.
Yeah.
Looking forward to hearing from you down the line. Maybe we can have another interview with you maybe later on if you want to have any
cool. Yeah, definitely.
update.
Yeah, just drop me a DM anytime. I'll hop on. That sounds good.
All right. So that will be all for tonight. Yes. So on behalf of Near Protocol Philippines, guys, this is Ted, creator of NEARNauts. We're happy to have him on the show. Once again, thank you for being here, Ted, and looking to have you again sometime down in the future.
Yep, sounds good.
All right. So this is it. You have a good night.